Welcome to week 12 of our series. This week we're going to be talking about self-care. I'm Tammy and Mandy is the other person with me. Hello, Mandy. She is
Hey.
the, thank you, resident of our physical therapy and our athletic training. And so this week we're going to really be talking about how to take care of yourself and some of the things that happen when we don't. So I'm going to start off with a little bit on nutrition. One of the things that has been found in studies is that about 1 out of 10 older adults is actually undernourished. And undernourished does not necessarily mean malnourished, though
Okay.
you can use those terms interchangeably. And the
hmm
World Health Organization actually says that there's a double burden of malnutrition. There is the one side of people who just don't get enough food of any kind. And so they're not getting enough nutrients and they're malnourished. But they
hmm
have also found that the majority of people who are obese are also malnourished
Ah,
because
okay.
they're not
Okay.
eating the right amount of foods. They're not eating the right
Yeah.
types of foods. They're not actually getting their macronutrients and their micronutrients that they need. So they're undernourished. And
Right.
as we get older, our taste buds change. And so sometimes we just don't want to cook or things just don't taste good anymore. I remember my grandmother in her 80s was saying, no, I don't want to eat anything but Peter Pan peanut butter. That was the only thing she would eat. That was the only thing that tasted good to her. I'm watching my parents who are in their 70s. My mother is a brilliant cook saying,
Right.
you know what, I cooked my whole life. I don't want to cook anymore. And so tonight we had, lemon bars from a box and, you know, and popcorn
Right.
for dinner, which gives you, really popcorn gives you some fiber. But really, you're just getting those carbohydrates. You're not getting a
Really.
lot of,
Yeah.
you're not getting any of the vitamins and minerals you need, etc. So part of self-care is making sure that we are maintaining our body through nutrients. And what happens is if we are not eating when we're younger in a healthy manner, we can have chronic inflammation. It could be low level. We might not even notice that we have this low level inflammation. In our digestive tract, that's where 70% of our immune system is. And all of the microbiome, all the bacteria that are good bacteria that are supposed to be there that talk to our immune system, a lot of
Right.
the times we'll eat things and they'll look at it and they'll say, I don't know what this is. And they'll tag it to be attacked by the immune system. So the immune system is consistently working at low levels. And so you have that low level inflammation. And they're now finding that this absolutely changes the way that you absorb nutrients in your body.
Mm.
For instance, if you have low level inflammation because you have too much acid or not enough acid in your stomach, you're not breaking the food down the way that you should be. And so there aren't as many nutrients to absorb. And in
Right.
your small intestine, where you do absorb the nutrients, if there's low level inflammation, the cells just aren't as good at it. And they leave a lot of the nutrients behind, which make the bacteria in our gut very happy. But they're going through
Right.
us and they're not helping us. So if we think about self care, now, Mandy and I have mentioned multiple times everything in moderation. Does that mean
Right.
never have any ice cream? No, go ahead and have some ice cream. I bought some ice cream today. I bought some chocolate today too. Just saying that you can have things within moderation as long as
Right.
you're eating healthy and taking care of your gut, taking care of the bacteria in your gut so that they can tell your immune system, yes, this is a wonderful nutrient, absorb this, give it to the body. We're all good. We're all healthy.
Yeah.
So, this is really just looking at what we're doing now and how it could affect us in the future. So I'm excited, Mandy, to hear about other types of self-care that we can be doing right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that this topic of self-care can be sometimes a little bit difficult one to discuss. I remember talking to another gal who is a mother and saying, I just don't know where that line is between self-care and selfishness. It really exists. And I think a lot of times people associate the idea of self-care with, a spa day or, some sort of something where they're pampering themselves. And the truth is that self-care isn't always conceptualized with you getting something done, for you, or that you pay for, or it's much more than that. It's the idea of taking care of yourself, really. Okay. And so taking care of yourself really just goes through everything that we've been discussing to this point. And in order to flourish throughout life, I think that routines are really vital. And so I still remember to this day, a great friend of mine, Sarah, was talking about her grandmother, and she went up to visit her. And for some reason, it was kind of a family reunion. Someone bought danishes or some sort of donuts. And her grandmother ate just plain oatmeal because it had good fiber, it was good nutrition. Mm-hmm. And that's what she ate every morning for her breakfast. That was her thing. And they're like, hey, Grandma, are you sure you don't want to try one of these donuts or these danishes? And she looked at it, and you could tell the way she described it that she wanted one. Mm-hmm. But she looked back at her oatmeal and she's like, nope, this is what I know I need to eat. And then she ate, that's what she ate. She chose not to have that donut or that Danish. And she could have just said, you know what? I'm 80 years old. I don't like this oatmeal anymore. After this, I'm going to have that Danish.
Give me that raspberry Danish.
Live in the moment. You only live once, YOLO, you're 80. But she didn't. She had a pre-established routine. And those routines, I think, are really what save you for living well throughout your life. I really like this one particular guy. His name is Michael Hyatt. He's got a lot of great books out there. There are other people, of course. I read a lot. But Michael Hyatt has a couple of really great books on just creating your best year ever. And in my previous blog posts, I've mentioned him for sure.
Definitely.
And yep. And so he has this planner that he calls a full focus planner. And it's about establishing a routine for your week, but then also giving yourself that flexibility to have fun on the weekends too. If you take care and set up and establish a routine with some flex to have those fun times, to allow yourself to have those, Netflix bender, days where or maybe it's going to the movies or other things, but it's because you set your week up and you set your life up so that those bad things are only truly in moderation, and that bad night is already planned out. You've heard about people like, this is our cheat night. They have a routine, and that's built and set up. My routine actually goes from 5:30 in the morning until 9 o'clock at night. And sometimes it's earlier, but it's programmed out to where I do certain chores on particular days once I put the kids to bed. And a lot of that's meal prepping and meal planning, and my exercise is programmed out, because if it's not planned, it's not going to happen. If it's not programmed, it's probably not going to happen. Life has this sneaky way of there's always something to do, and so that taking that time for that self-care is building a routine into your life. I used to be very anti, then I can't, be in the moment and I can't plan. But ultimately, that's living life for right now instead of living life for next year and for 10 years from now, and to have the mind and the body and the soul that you want. You need to take that time for yourself. You need that self-care, and that's not a hot stone massage. It's way more than that. So
it's doing it daily and making sure that things happen daily.
Yeah, and taking that time. So that's the big thing is, try to look at, there's lots of different planners out there. I mentioned Michael Hyatt's Full Focus Planner. He's created a weekly schedule. My husband and I have a weekly schedule that we share so we can see both of our typically scheduled events.
Mm-hmm.
And that way we can help each other out with household duties and co-parenting and still getting in our workouts and still getting in good nutrition. Like today, for example, I have to go make some homemade granola bars that are going to be our snacks for the week.
Yeah.
Because they're good to grab on the go and they've got great fiber. And, you want to have those types of things planned in. And it takes effort and it takes time, but it's important. So.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Whew. Now I got to go plan some meals for the week. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Next week, we are going to be talking about mindfulness. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bye.